This is Bryce Burge, host of Your Soccer Passport. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hey, this is Lee.
And this is Chelsea.
And we are the host of your new favorite sales podcast, See Jane Sell.
Join us every Thursday for a new episode where we will tackle the realistic world of sales and maybe teach you a thing or two along the way.
You can subscribe to See Jane Sell on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, CastBox, and Spotify. Thanks, and enjoy the following podcast on Public House Media.
Hello, Rewritten crew. It's Julianne Candia. Thank you for tuning in to Rewritten. I'm so excited you are here. I want to hear from you. So after this episode, after you're done listening, please screenshot it, upload it to Instagram, tag me at Julianne Candia and at the Rewritten Society. I'll reshare it, but also I just really want to hear how the episode spoke to you. And if you could screenshot this to 3 friends or just share the link with them, that would be everything. That is how this grows. And something I'm massively proud of is that this podcast in particular gets listened to the whole way through. And that just tells me, I'm such a teacher, that just tells me you're with me. Like, you are right with me and you're leaning in and you're wanting to rewrite your story. You're wanting to go somewhere, and I want to link arms with you. So thank you for being a part of this journey with me, alongside me. I'm rooting for you. Whatever it is that you want in life, my friend, go after it. You don't need to know it all to go after it. You don't have to have everything together to get after it. I think it's just all about taking the steps to make it happen. So I recently read a book called Wolfpack by Abby Wambach, and she is known, actually, this was so cool because I'm not a big soccer fan. I don't watch soccer, but she has scored the most international goals out of men and women, and I just think that that is so badass. Like, get it, Abby? And so once she retired, she struggled with her identity. Like, who am I now that soccer is gone? And maybe some of you have dealt with that, becoming a mom, becoming a wife, becoming a teacher. I felt that way with teaching. There has to be more to me than teaching, right? I remember asking myself that, and it was really cool because she had this realization that, no, she made soccer. She's had it all along. It's her who made soccer, not soccer who made her. And I just think that mentality is so powerful, where whatever you're doing in life, whether you're a mom, it's not your kids that make you a mom. You make them, well, that wouldn't make sense that you make them a mom, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you bring yourself to them. And I just think with that type of thinking, it just switches to where it's more mission-based, it's more focused and passion-led. But if you're asking yourself, who am I? There has to be more. My friend, there's so much out there for you to pursue, whatever it is that you want to pursue. However, I do think a big thing that gets in the way of people and their mindsets and the goals that they have for themselves and the idea of how they want life to be is this incredible fear of failure. And so Abby shared a story that before she went pro, she was able to visit the U.S. women's national team, and she went in their locker room, and I am so glad that she shared this. She said that there was a picture, 5x7 picture, when you entered the locker room and when you left the locker room. And she said, you think this picture would be, of the team or something inspirational in our eyes, but it actually shocked her with what it was. And what it was is it was when the U.S. team got beat, when the Norwegian team beat them, and they were celebrating after they had just beaten the USA in the 1995 World Cup. What? So the U.S. team had a picture of them getting beat by this Norwegian team celebrating, And that was their picture that they saw. That was their last, so the U.S. team, that was their last loss. And they looked at it every single time they left the locker room. And I just thought that philosophy was so interesting. And Abby was so confused by it. Like, what's the deal with this? Why do you have that there? And they explained to her that the first order of a national team obviously is to win. Like, when you're part of a team, that's obviously like the goal. But this is what was so crucial and so critical and so eye-opening, not just to Abby, but when Abby was writing this, that when I read it, I just thought, yes, everyone needs to hear this. That when failure comes, because it will, and I think some of us think other people are immune to it, that they just don't experience setbacks in their goal chasing, relentless, trailblazing, goal-setting life, that they just don't experience setbacks, which is not true. But when failure does come, because it will, that they're not afraid of it, because they're looking at it every single day. So since they're not afraid of it, the team is fueled by it. Isn't that so amazing that this U.S. national team never denies its last failure? They remember it. They don't reject it. We don't accept it. This is what they said to her. We don't accept it as proof that we aren't worthy of playing at the highest level. Instead, we insist upon remembering, because we know that the lesson of yesterday's loss become the fuel for tomorrow's win. That is so good. That is so good. She said she left the table understanding that in order to become a champion, and by the way, we can all become champions in our own lives in different ways, on and off the field, she needed to spend her life transforming her failures into fuel. How many of us are not doing that? First of all, a lot of us are not even getting started because we're so afraid of failure. But the ones who make the journey, they take the first step, that type of mindset is going to take you to the next level. I need to spend my life transforming my failures into my fuel. That's incredible. And Abby said women haven't yet accessed the power of failure. When it comes, we panic, deny it, or reject it outright. Worst case scenario, we view failure as proof that we were always unworthy imposters. I've seen that. I've seen that with my friends who've earned incredible goals that they don't feel like they deserved it. And I'm just like, what? Yes, you did. You're incredible. You're amazing. You are so meant to be here. Why do we let failure take us out of the game? Perfection is not a prerequisite of leadership. Women must stop accepting failure as a destruction and start using failure as fuel. Failure is not something to be ashamed of, nor is it proof of unworthiness. You need to write that down. Failure is something to be powered by. When we live afraid to fail, we don't take risks. And honestly, I just think about over these last 5 years, risk is what got me here. And it was scary, but I wouldn't be here if I didn't take the risks. We have to stop worrying, what if I fail? Instead, let's promise ourselves, when I fail, I'll stick around. That is what every single woman needs to hear. When I fail, I'll stick around. That is everything. The world needs to see women taking risks, failing big, and insisting on their right to stick around and try again and again and again. A champion never allows a short-term failure to take her out of the long-term game. A woman who doesn't give up can never lose. A woman who doesn't give up can never freaking lose. Heck to the yes, Abby Wambach. That is what's up. I have had so many setbacks in building a business. It's so hard to even really think about them, not because it's painful, but because I just kept moving. I just kept going. I mean, I've said wrong things. I've not known the answers. I don't even know. There's just an accumulation of a lot of things. I've made people upset, uncomfortable. I don't even know. It's just been a wild ride. Honestly, it feels like a roller coaster. And even now, being in this 5 years, I still experience setbacks and I question myself and all those things. But I know there's one thing is that I promise myself I will never quit. I'll never quit. I'm relentless in that way, that I believe so hard in what I'm doing that I'll be here. And the thing though is that I just get better. So if I'm doing something, I evaluate it. Is this working? Do I need to change something? It's usually just a little bit of a tweak you need to make. But I just feel like Ed Milet, who's my virtual mentor, he doesn't know that yet because I've never met him in real life. Did you know you can have a virtual mentor you've never met in real life? It's great. Is that he said the thing that separates the winners is that they just do one more. So, you run, this is a terrible example since I'm not a runner, but say you're running for 23 minutes. Just do one more. So he'll do an extra minute. If you're doing 20 reps of something, he'll do 21. If you need to make 26 invites, he'll do 27. He just does one more. And he said that all of the people that he's interviewed, all of the professional athletes or people that have built very incredible businesses, they've always just done one more rep, one more call, one more conversation, one more post, one more workout, whatever it is. And I just think that philosophy is so true. And that's like for me where it's like, I'm just going to do one more. And because I've done just one more, then someone comes into my life or I meet someone or a shift happens. I see momentum. There's just something to come from it with that type of mentality. However, I don't have an expectation on the outcome. I have an expectation by my hustle and potential, but whatever comes from it, comes from it. I'm either going to win or I'm going to learn. And then when I learn, I'm going to win again because I'm just going to implement it. And so instead of being like, I expect victory, one, it's like whatever that next step looks like, I'm either going to win or I'm going to learn. And I just think that life is all about learning, but it just kills me when women hold themselves back because of this failure or when they're on the road. I have mentored so many people that they're there when they're winning. They're there when it's all aligning, but then they freaking disappear as soon as it gets hard. As soon as something happens, they felt like a failure. Instead of turning it into a fuel, they turned it into defeat and they threw in the towel. And it crushes me because I just felt like that's when the growth happens, is when that happens. So friend, you're on your way when you have setback. You just have to look at it in a different perspective. Anyone who's done anything ever great, and again, I want to empower women to get fit in every area of life, but I want them to feel fulfilled in every area of life. And in order to do that, like, you have to trust the process. You have to keep showing up. You cannot quit. You cannot throw in the towel. You have to just keep on going. All right, screenshot this to me, upload it. I cannot wait to hear from you. You are incredible. Thank you for being a listener of Rewritten. It makes my heart sing. All right, have a great day.